We're coming to the end of Judgment Day, the big crossover event for Marvel Comics in 2022. This week, we're going to talk about XMen Red and what happens in there with Magneto. And then we're going to talk about the 4th issue of the event itself and how it's led up to these 2 big events. And because of what they've done the past 2 years, one of those events, no one believes, and the other one makes everything that's happened in Judgment Day so far a complete waste of time. It actually negates everything. And here to talk with me about that is Doc. How you doing, Doc?
I am here. I am good, sir. Thank you for having me here. I wish they had a direction for this fucking event.
Oh, there's a direction. It's called Down. Let's hit XMen Red number 6. This is all the Uranus, Iraqi mutant stuff going on. And this is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in a comic book, Doc. It's hard for me to believe that Magneto had his heart ripped out, yet is still alive, and he's pumping his blood because he's taking lots of iron supplements.
I get the whole thing, like Uranus ripped out his heart last issue. He needs to pump his blood, and he does that by putting iron into it. You know what that doesn't do, though? It doesn't oxygenate it. Hey, we did a thing last issue, that was supposed to be our big shock ending, and then we undo it by, hey, let's just make him more OP.
There's so many Deus Ex Machinas and MacGuffins throughout this event. It's just one after the other because they've gone with so many convoluted ideas here that none of them make sense. But I guess they think if they throw enough convoluted ideas and Deus Ex Machinas at you, you'll stop thinking about the story itself. There's another point within X-Men Red number 6, Doc. Storm arrives because she was on vacation or whatever, and they decide Storm, an Omega-level mutant, is going to zap this man with no heart that's on the verge of death. They tell you that multiple times with lightning. And not only does he live, he becomes more powerful. Like, come on, man. There's no stakes in this. This is ridiculous.
Honestly, nothing fucking matters anymore. It doesn't make any damn sense. They try to explain it away by somehow Storm's powers and Magneto's sync together because, we're just Voltroning all the mutants together. That's the whole point of the Hicksman era at this point. So apparently Lightning and his electromagnetism do stuff together, and bada bing bada boom, he's more powerful. Yay. It's super fucking convenient, ain't it?
But it's all setting up the events in Judgment Day number 4. So that's what's happening in X-Men Red. Magneto literally doesn't have a heart. He's on the edge of death. Uranus went through and took it out with his bare hands. That's what's going on there. We get to Judgment Day number 4. So what they're doing is they're throwing dozens upon dozens of characters at the readers to kind of hide what a lame, non-engaging story it is. There's actually a 3-page sequence showing heroes like Spider-Man, Kamala Khan, Daredevil. They have nothing to do with the actual story being told. We see the progenitor judging people with no rhyme or reasons. One lady he decides needs to die because she didn't tip her waiter. Another character, Dr. Doom, tells him to go screw himself and he gets to live. Like, I don't understand the rules. And worst of all, Doc, Kieron Gillen doesn't understand the rules of what he's actually writing here. It's clear as day.
He spends half of those pages just validating new heroes, saying that all your old heroes really suck because they're all giant failures because this Celestial said so. He spends the entire book talking about how everyone's going to be judged individually. Their whole big plan is to get Star Fox to convince world leaders to make deals about environmentalism and justice and human rights so that you can top down make everyone else good.
That'll make them worthy. No, we could live because Star Fox is an eco-terrorist or something.
No, we can all live because our government people decided to do nice things, so suddenly we're good. Typical lefty bullshit, top-down virtue. Oh, well, your country voted on this. That doesn't fucking matter. None of that shit matters. The whole point of this is, hey, we're going to judge everyone individually. So how do we make sure everyone is individually good? By some elite asshole at the top agreeing to a deal in exchange for celestial technology. That makes you super duper virtuous. How the fuck does that work?
Well, we'll talk about how all this kind of falls apart, but there's another big thing that ends up happening. There's a coup among the Eternals. Druid gets hoodwinked. They're about to vote him out, so he ends up freeing Uranus from his cell. You don't want Uranus on Earth because he's going to do what he did to Araco. And then Star Fox, somehow, through this coup, ends up as the elected new leader of the Eternals. despite his brother Thanos also recently being the leader of the Eternals and like murdering everybody and destroying everything.
He started this fucking issue in jail too. Hey, look, it's pick your criminal. They could pick literally anyone else. He is not that interesting. We all know why they needed to do it. First of all, they needed to make him super twinky and make him Harry Styles.
He's fear stock. That's what I would use. That's the word.
It doesn't seem to make any sense that they'd pick Star Fox of all people, other than the fact that they're going to be using Harry Styles in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's it.
Well, with Star Fox unleashing Uranus, he ends up going towards Earth. He's going to rain hellfire and brimstone on everybody. And then Magneto of the No Heart arrives with Storm, Doc. We're told that he has deleted all the records. Resurrection is not on the table for Magneto if he dies in this encounter. He ends up actually tricking Uranus, and they're able to put him back into his cell. And Magneto dies. This is one of the biggest characters in the Marvel Comics universe. Certainly one of the biggest characters in the X-Men universe. Supposedly, we can't bring him back. And nobody gave a single shit about him dying here. Not the writer, not the readers, not the characters in the story, because no one believes it at this point. They try to take Resurrection off the table, and I still know he's going to be resurrected, Doc.
He shows up, acts as a plot device, dies, and literally it's not even mentioned again after that by any of the characters after that panel. He's there for like 4 panels. Like the whole thing about like deleting the records and everything, that would have mattered before they did Trial of Magneto, where Scarlet Witch at the end gets rid of the one limitation of resurrection. They don't actually even need the fucking Cerebro system anymore because they have like the mutant waiting room heaven thing that she created for all of the mutants that even died before Cerebro backups existed. If you somehow get missed with your backup, you just come there anyway, and then you could just get resurrected. So we know that that's how they're going to do it, because like 6 months ago, they already created the workaround for the thing that they are trying to convince us matters.
No, so this is the big payoff for XMen Red. Magneto's dead, but we know he's not going to be actual dead, so no one cares. And then they managed after that to actually make everything we've read in Judgment Day so far essentially meaningless. Once they brought back the Progenitor, he's individually judging everybody. We've had individual issues of characters being judged in the Marvel Comics universe. The Progenitor decides he actually needs to judge all of mankind as a whole, and he finds them lacking. He gives them the thumbs down, which has been the lamest thing about Judgment Day, is everyone getting the thumbs down. Like, this is supposed to be a Celestial, not a singing show. But when that happens, Doc, all I can think was, why was he giving Cap, Kamala, and dozens of other heroes in main series and tie-ins the thumbs up, thumbs down treatment and judging them individually? What an enormous waste of time here, Doc.
You just spent the last 2 issues talking about how important it is to look at every single person individually, judge them individually, and then tally up the total. We had about a dozen other comics that are unrelated, that are tie-ins to this, that were exploring this exact thing. And then at the end of the 4th issue, you're just going to go, you know what? I'm done. That doesn't really matter. We're just going to, we changed our mind. Rick Remender did this better in Uncanny Avengers when he did it 10 years ago.
There was a time when it felt like X-Men was going to be the hottest property in all of comic books for maybe like 5 or 6 years, when Jonathan Hickman jumped in with House of X Powers of 10. I do want to say House of X number 4, especially, was one of the great issues of the year. Really had so much potential. If you don't remember this, or maybe you didn't get to watch the review the first time, definitely check out what I had to say about House of X number 4. If you're on mobile device, there's also a link in the video description.